All right, first things first, let's clear this up, shall we? I am a skinny guy, but I am not as skinny as the thumbnail. So, first up, there is the original photo from the thumbnail without the Photoshop magic. I just wanted to clear that up before we kick off with this week's 5 Minute Friday. A few questions that we're going to answer this week. Can vegans build muscle? Does soy turn vegan men into vegan women? Do vegans have lower testosterone? We're going to answer those questions and discuss this and much more in this week's 5 Minute Friday Live, where we cover the last week's vegan related news, animal rights related news. So when it's Friday, it's live, but it won't be 5 minutes. Got to tell you that right now. It will not be for 5 minutes, but that's okay, right? Because we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna get through some interesting stuff this week. Today's topics include more bullshit from the animal agriculture industry, a new right-wing vegan group in the UK. Yeah, you heard me right. And vegan chocolate that claims it can make you better in bed, and much more, much more. A few more stories too. So let's dive right in with the first story and let's answer those questions about vegans, testosterone, soy, and building muscle. So that's me again. So here's an article that was posted just last week, and it was by the website Green Matters. It's titled, "Do Vegans Have Higher Levels of Testosterone?" And aims to answer some of the questions we asked earlier. So let's start with soy. The article actually links to a page where it stated that in 2010, a group of researchers at the University of Minnesota and Loma Linda in California, they analyzed 47 studies examining the relationship between soy and men's sex hormones, including testosterone. The researchers concluded that soy intake did not significantly affect testosterone levels. So that's obviously a pretty powerful study and a pretty powerful thing from looking at 47 studies. But if you're not happy with just that one study, they actually found another study that said the exact same. This study also showed that soy intake had no effect on testosterone levels. So soy milk, tofu, it's okay. You're going to be all right as a man. You're going to be all right. But look, at the end of the day, it's pretty fucking obvious, isn't it? Because a symptom of low testosterone is low muscle mass. Well, here's Nimai Delgado. He's a pro bodybuilder who consumes a shitload of soy because he is a vegan and he likes soy products, and he's been a vegetarian his whole life. He's never eaten meat. So if soy was reducing his testosterone levels and feminizing him, as the claims go, then he wouldn't look like that, would he? But look, even though it's obvious, it is great that we got these studies to back it up. And not only that, here's something that flips that stereotype of the wimpy vegan, I don't know, low testosterone thing on its head. The British Journal of Cancer released a study that showed vegans had 13% higher testosterone than meat eaters and 8% higher than vegetarians. Now, this study was only done on 696 men and 233 vegans, and they did say that it wasn't free testosterone, so it wasn't as if they had loads more. It was being processed, the testosterone. It's not like they had a surplus, but they had more of it before it was processed, if you follow my drift. The point is that they didn't have lower testosterone. It was the same after it had been processed in the body. So can vegans build muscle? Well, yeah, of course we fucking can. You know, it's clear and it's obvious, and I shouldn't need to say it, but obviously I do need to say it because some people think we can't build muscle. Building muscle requires adequate nutrition and consistent training. The plant-based diet provides all the nutrition that you need. And the training? Well, look, being a lazy shit has nothing to do with veganism, but if you're committed and you eat a plant-based diet, you can do it. You know, if you're committed and you eat a balanced plant-based diet, sorry, I meant to say, you can do. But you need to get up off your ass and you need to be eating sufficient amount of calories, a sufficient amount of protein. And you can't just be smashing the vegan junk food and sitting around watching Netflix. I can't make you eat properly, obviously, but that's how you build muscle. If you want to build muscle, that's how you do it. What about you, though? Do you feel healthy and strong as a vegan? Do you feel like you can build muscle? Are you building muscle? Have you built muscle? Or do you just feel good? Are you not looking to build muscle, but do you feel healthy? Let me know right now by leaving a comment that says vegan power. Leave that comment down below in the main comment area and show everyone that you're a powerful vegan. You got that vegan power. So who's ready for some animal agriculture bullshit? Because I've got some for you. Veganuary is back, and it's huge in the UK with tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people eating a plant-based diet for January. And I hope they stick with it, obviously. It's huge in the UK. And the animal agriculture industry, well, they're not happy about it. What does the animal agriculture industry do when they get desperate? Well, they make pathetic attempts to brainwash the public with commercials, advertisements, just like the tobacco companies did in the past. So let's take a look at the latest advertisement, the latest commercial they have posted, they have published out there, and let's break down this absolute bullshit together. You're going to have to hold on just for one quick second there. I need to add the audio back onto this and make sure you can hear it, because if I don't put this on so you can hear it, then clearly it's going to be useless. So let's load it up. All right, here we go. This is the latest in an ad from the UK. I'm just gonna play it for you. I'm not gonna explain it anymore. You gotta see this.
We've all got a lot on our.
Hold up, let's pull that back. Hope you can hear this.
We've all got a lot on our plates right now, but here's something you'll want to make room for. The story of a food so natural it takes the rain from the sky and the plants we humans cannot eat and turns it into something wonderful. Essential nutrients our bodies need to help us stay healthy. Meat and dairy. Enjoy the food you eat. Eat balanced.
So there's the latest attempt by the animal agriculture industry of desperately trying to rescue their dying industry. And look, let's just break it down. Let's break it down step by step. So we've got the opening, okay?
We've all got a lot on our plates right now.
We've all got a lot on our plates right now. That's the big opening they've gone for. Now, what they're doing here is leeching off the fact that people are struggling due to this whole pandemic situation. And they're doing that to attempt to get you on side. It's like, oh, you're like me. This person on this advert's like me. We've all got a lot on our plates. We're all in this together. It's like a primer so that whatever comes next, you're going to feel like, oh, we're on the same side here. So that's how they kick it off.
But here's something you'll want to make room for.
Let's see what the next point is.
The story of a food so natural.
The story of a food so natural. So let's break that down, because that needs to be highlighted, doesn't it? This is known as an appeal to nature fallacy. Or to put it really simple, the idea that something being natural means that it's inherently good. When they say this, the story of a food so natural, they're directly playing on that. So to give you an example of how this is absolute bullshit, humans have been murdering each other to do things like defend their territory, to claim territory, to secure food. We've been doing that to each other since records began. It's a natural behavior. But our current society decided that this is not good, so it's illegal. And most people frown upon murder, obviously, but it's perfectly natural to murder. It's something that, as I said, humans have been doing in nature since humans began, since our race started. So something being natural or not doesn't determine whether it's good or not. But most people do get tricked by that absolute bullshit, and that's why it's in the ad. It is highly manipulative.
It takes the rain from the sky and the plants we humans cannot eat and turns it into some.
So takes the rain from the sky and the plants that we cannot eat. That's what they're claiming, that when they create animal products, let's say produce animal products, they're saying that it's just rain from the sky, plants we can't eat, and it just becomes what it becomes, right? They've completely skipped out the middle bit here, haven't they? But let's go for talk about the claim that they've made here. One of the largest and most profitable animal agriculture industries, or industries related to animal agriculture, is the animal feed industry. There's an entire multi-billion-dollar industry growing crops specifically to feed animals to then use, kill, and feed to humans. This ad is attempting to paint the situation as kind of like, what else would we do with these plants and the water that's just present? You know, we can't eat these plants, but they're here. And the water, it's just here, you know. But in reality, these crops, these plants are specifically grown, and the water is specifically sourced to grow those plants and feed the animals. So rather than just growing plants to feed humans and using that same resources for that, we could feed the entire population if we did that. What they do instead is they want to make money from selling dead animals and animal products to humans. So they grow plants, take those resources to grow plants to feed the humans, to feed the rich humans. And as I said, it completely bypasses the wonderful acts of forcibly impregnating cows, separating them from their calves, dragging the animals into slaughterhouses and slitting their throats. Why didn't they include all of that wonderfulness in the ad, huh? If it's so wonderful, why is that not included in the ad as well? Where's the transparency? And if you see here, there is some text at the bottom about B12, about animal products being a source of B12 and what B12 does and the protein. And again, it's misleading the consumer because I don't know if you know this, but animals are fed B12 supplements. There's nothing natural about that. And obviously the consumer can just take the B12 supplement directly and leave the animal the fuck alone. And protein can be obtained in a plant-based diet through pretty much every food, actually. Every vegetable has protein at varying amounts, but obviously the ones with the most protein: seeds, nuts, legumes, tofu, all that good stuff. But they make it out like, oh, the only way you can get B12 and protein is from eating animal products. It's the standard bullshit.
Wonderful, essential nutrients our bodies need to
More about
help
the
us stay
nutrients.
healthy. Meat and dairy. Enjoy the food you eat. Eat balanced.
And that final desperate attempt to win you over: enjoy the food you eat balanced. Now, it's subtle, but if you really pay attention, you can see the manipulation tactic at work. One of the most common arguments against veganism is that vegan food is shit and vegans don't enjoy their food, right? So that tagline, enjoy the food you eat, it was specifically chosen and stated at that exact moment to support people who believe that ridiculous argument and to make the viewer feel good about eating what makes them happy. And it's all at the expense of animal abuse. That's the whole point of that. It's playing on the idea that people think that vegan food, you won't enjoy it. But they know they do enjoy animal products because that's the default. That's where they're at right now. And this ad manipulates and plays on that. And about the eating balanced part, I actually agree with that. You should eat balanced. You should eat a balanced plant-based diet and leave the animals the fuck alone. So this ad, it is literally plastered with these scenes, these idyllic countryside scenes, isn't it? And this is, again, it's all this slow-mo, it's the beautiful scenery, it's the British countryside, the rolling hills, all the stuff that people really love to pretend that it is associated with animal agriculture, and they don't want to see the the violence. They don't want to even pretend. They don't for a second want to imagine that that's what's really happening. What they'd rather do is pretend that it is the countryside and it's all those idyllic scenes, and it's so well chosen with those beautiful shots, the slow-mo shots of those healthy young people. Say what you want about this ad, but you can't deny that whoever made it is very, very good at manipulation, is very good at the tactics that, I mean, they're paid for this. This is, it's what they're good at. It's what they're good for. And the whole point of the whole thing is to try to trigger that emotion inside of you that says, this is good, I should eat this. That's what they're hoping for. Now, what I hope is that the British public sees through this absolute bullshit, because, I mean, come on, they must be getting sick of being manipulated by these industries. They've been doing it for so long, and people are so much more switched on now. They've got more access to the internet and more access to the things, that teach them to look out for this bullshit. So I really hope that the public is switched on enough to see through this absolute nonsense, What do you think, though? Should I make a parody video on this ad? Should I remake the ad, but brutally honest instead, like do the voiceover, take all the footage and just make a realistic version of it? If you'd like to see that, leave a comment right now, but leave a comment under the video, not in the live chat. Leave a comment under the video saying end animal agriculture. And if enough of you do that, I will remake that ad, and I'll make it the way it should be. And it's gonna and then I'll tag them because you know what? That would piss them off so much to see that, and I reckon it will cause some serious shit. But it needs to be. It needs to be done. I would love it if we could make that and get it shared. We can get it shared and replace their absolute nonsense. But hey, listen, we're not done with the animal agriculture nonsense just yet. We've only just got started. WhatPoultry.com recently posted this lovely article titled 10 Memorable Agri-Food Industry Quotes from 2020. How cute is that, right? They got their top 10 animal agriculture quotes and made a list of them. And this is a poultry website, by the way, which means birds like chickens, turkeys, ducks. They're all about like breeding and killing those animals. So this is that website. This is what they're all about. So I thought, let's take a look at some of the more interesting quotes out of their top 10 quotes for 2020. So we kick off with this one by Richard Carlson, who's the Hormel Foods Vice President of Quality Management. He says, when we think about employee safety, they really aren't difficult decisions. They are just the right decisions. So noble, so selfless. I wonder if he takes that same position when his employees are committing acts of domestic violence, suffering from PTSD, anxiety, depression, and all of this as a result of slitting animals' throats all day. I wonder if he actually takes that position then and says, we're all about employee safety. So yeah, definitely not. But it's a nice quote, right? I mean, I'm sure he wrote it himself and everything. Richard, if you really gave a shit, you'd close the fuck down and stop putting animals through hell on earth. And you know what? You'd stop paying humans to put them through that hell on earth. It's just so wrong on so many fucking levels. It's insane. And these people, where do they get off saying shit like that? Who does he think he is? Employee safety. Absolute nonsense. Next quote I've got here highlighted. Chickens are curious. We saw that while growing, even before we were putting birds out on the range. If you were working on a chicken house and you had tools, if there were small pieces, you got to keep track of them, or birds will come over and take them. They're just naturally curious. This is Austin Good, who's a grower, which means he breeds chickens to be killed. And he spoke at an animal care summit. So let me get this straight. One of the most memorable quotes of the year from a website that represents an industry that breeds and kills chickens and other birds. One of their most memorable quotes is a quote that admires the natural curiosity of chickens. That is like a serial killer who admires the victims before killing them. This is like some Ted Bundy shit. It is so fucked up. What planet are these people on? No, seriously. It's insane. Where does that go? What kind of mind frames you have to be in to be breeding and killing these animals and to talk about admire them? And it's so sick. It's so sick on so many levels. Next up, we've got Lisa Bishop Spencer, who's she's director of brand and communications with Chicken Farmers of Canada. She says, we didn't want to be in the position where we were depopulating fully grown birds at the farm because we hadn't had to do that. We were trying to create the best circumstances to avoid that if at all possible. So she was talking about they needed to cut back chicken production for whatever reason. What a wonderful person Lisa is, though, right? For trying to avoid depopulating if possible. What a lovely person. That good old euphemism, depopulating. And if you don't know what that means, depopulating means literally to commit mass genocide, a mass genocide of animals. They kill an entire barn of animals in one go. It can be due to a virus, a disease, or just because the demand is low and they can't sell their dead bodies. And the most common way for them to do this is to pump foam into the barn to block the windows, block the ways that air could escape, and then pump in poisonous gas. And some farms do it by shutting off all the ventilation and letting the animals die of heat exhaustion. We're dealing with some lovely fucking people in this list, aren't we? Next up, we've got Cara Harbstreet, who is apparently a registered dietitian. She says, my definition of clean eating is food without physical dirt on it. I hope this was some kind of joke, because if Cara, a registered dietitian, said this unironically, she needs to lose her fucking license. That's all I've got to say about that. And finally, last quote we've got here. Some of these plant-based alternatives do not have enough of that history with the average consumers, because these are relatively new SKUs. If I had to guess, I'd say there are very few individuals sitting back now and saying, oh wow, I remember that time with my grandma having the Impossible Burger. It's probably not desirous. I don't even know what, as a comfort food at this moment. This is Nicole Rodriguez, another registered dietitian, speaking at a summit. Nicole here using one of the oldest tricks in the book, emotional manipulation. They try to trigger your emotions linked with foods that you ate in the past to get you to continue buying their products of violence. It's a really, really common trick that they use here because, look, who wants to change, right? If you've always been doing it, who wants to change it? It doesn't feel good to change. So they try and trigger your emotions like that. But in reality, who cares what you ate with grandma? How about you tell grandma she should stop paying for animal abuse and eat a fucking bean burger instead? You know, that's what you need to be telling grandma. Because tradition or memories of traditional meals don't justify abusing animals, Nicole. It's time to move on and grow up. If you agree with that it's time to move the fuck on and grow up and tell grandma to eat a bean burger, then leave a comment below right now, right in the comments, the main comment section, and leave this comment. No excuse for animal abuse. Not even grandma. All right? Not even grandma. If your grandma's abusing animals, look, it's time for you to step up and tell grandma, fucking stop it. I don't care. You know, a lot of people make... Side note, all right, I'm getting sidetracked here, but a lot of people make this excuse, especially old people like grandparents, like, I'm too old now, I'm too old to change. Bullshit. You're old enough to know better. That's what you are. You're old enough to know better. So yeah, give that a go. I'm sure it won't be successful because, you know, I'm going to assume your grandparents are stubborn like most grandparents are. But hey, look, why not give it a shot, right? Look, speaking of poultry farmers, we're not done yet. We've got some more animal agriculture to related news. And speaking directly of poultry farmers, whilst these guys over here have been busy celebrating their favorite quotes of 2020, they're putting us right on track for yet another pandemic. Because, as you can see on your screen right now, avian flu, also known as bird flu, is sweeping across Europe, and farmers are killing hundreds of thousands of birds in an attempt to stop the spread. France has already killed 200,000 birds and is going to kill 400,000 more. Germany has ordered 62,000 turkeys and ducks to be killed. And you're not going to believe this. Late last year, there was an outbreak in Japan and over 3 million birds were killed to try and stop the spread. And if all of that wasn't bad enough, if all of that killing wasn't bad enough by itself, there's a risk it could spread to humans, launching us into yet another global pandemic. All of this because people are too selfish to just leave the animals the fuck alone and eat something else. But wait, there's more. As unfortunately, I've got to break it to you as well, swine flu is on the rise, African swine flu, with cases rising in both wild and domestic pigs. So how much more death and suffering do we need before we stop fucking with the animals already? How many more pandemics do we have to go through? How many more lockdowns? How many more vaccines? How many more of all this shit do we have to go through before people get the message that we need to stop fucking with the animals, stop doing this to them, that if you pile them all into one place, like we're doing, if you mess with them, if you abuse them, manipulate them, this is going to keep on happening over and over again. I don't know how much more we need, you know, but we're out here. Keep up the good work. If you are talking about this, keep it up, all right? Don't give up. Now, look, I know that was depressing as fuck, but don't worry, because what I'm giving you right now is a shit sandwich, all right? You know what that means? So a shit sandwich, we've got good, bad, then good again, all right? Although the first story wasn't necessarily good. It was good, yeah. We got good, bad, then good again. We got good news about testosterone. We got some bad news, animal agriculture bullshit. Now we're going to go good again, and that's a shit sandwich, all right? So, the good. On the 31st of December 2020, greyhound racing was completely banned in Florida. Banned. Finished. Done. 100%. No more exploiting and abusing animals for dogs for racing in Florida. And it's all thanks to animal rights activists. They've been fighting for decades to get this done. And they did it. It's amazing. It's fantastic. It's such a fucking good news story. Huge news. Well done to everyone who was involved in making that happen. Thank you so much for this. Now, next, I mentioned to you earlier the conservative vegan group that has just launched in the UK. They're called the Vegan Conservatives. Now, this has been launched by conservative members of parliament who are basically, these are the Republicans of the UK, basically, for anyone who's American out there who doesn't understand what I'm talking about. Basically, yeah, that's what they are. And they're trying to encourage other conservative MPs to go vegan, to expand the proud tradition of veganism, the proud British tradition of veganism. All right, so look, veganism is not a British thing. All right, I'll be the first to say that. But honestly, if that's what it takes to get conservatives to stop abusing animals, who gives a shit if they want to believe it's a British tradition or not? Let them believe it as long as they leave the animals alone, right? Now, they're focused on diet, okay, with this. They're very much focused on diet, and they don't seem to be very much into the ethics, but it is still something. It could be pandering. It could be them just trying to appeal to vegans because, as I said earlier, veganism is very popular in the UK. To give you an example, Deliveroo has been stating that they have been receiving vegan takeaway orders at an increase of 163%, for example, and Veganuary is huge in the UK as well. But if they were pandering to vegans, it really wouldn't make a lot of sense considering that vegans are still a huge minority of the UK population. So look, maybe they're doing it with an agenda. Maybe they're doing it genuinely trying to help the animals and the planet. I guess we're just going to have to see how that pans out, really. But what do you think of this this group of conservative vegans? Do you think they're full of shit, or do you think it's for real? Leave a comment and let me know exactly what you think. I'm really curious to get your thoughts on this one. Either way, I didn't expect to see that in 2021. I never expected that to be one of the first stories that I read in 2021, but it gives us an idea that, change is happening. The world is changing slowly but surely. And I guess the ones you would least expect to be launching vegan groups are launching vegan groups. And it's a real sign of the times. So it's a good thing for sure. It's definitely a good thing. Now, let's talk about that chocolate that I mentioned in the intro, the chocolate that apparently can make you better in bed, the vegan chocolate. So this is by a vegan company called Eat Gold Organics. They launched a chocolate that can make you better in bed. Each chocolate bar they make is $13, by the way, $13 a bar. But they're apparently infused with adaptogens and nootropics, and each of them has its own purpose. Now, this sounds a little bit woo-woo to me. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't really know the ins and outs of it, but apparently they're all inspired by adults' needs. They have like one that's for being happy, one that's for like, good vibes, one that's apparently for like better orgasms and immunity boost, and one for menopausal women who get hot flashes, and one for good sleep. I mean, look, I don't know if any of this is legit. All I know is that they're a vegan company, and they put out these chocolates, and I thought it was pretty funny. So I thought, why not just throw it in here and see what you guys think of it? And look, if you pick one of these chocolate bars up, trying to get better in bed, I'm not going to judge you or anything. So you go for that. But like, you can tell me, would you actually try a vegan chocolate that makes you better in bed? If it's free, would you try it? I mean, if it's free, I don't know. I don't see why not, but I don't think I'd ever pay $13 for it. But I wouldn't judge you for paying $13 to get better in bed. I mean, it's a bargain, really, when you think about it. If it works, $13. I mean, not bad, right? Not bad at all. So let me know in the comments if you would do it. So are you still with me? Are you still here? If you're still here, then drop a comment, as I said, down below, not in the live chat, down below as well, both in the live chat and down below if you're watching live. Drop a comment down below. Tell me right now, which of these stories was your favorite? Which of them stood out to you as a good one, as a good story, or as an interesting story, whichever was your favorite. I want to give a big shout out right now to my Patreon team. You guys and girls make all of this possible. And I really can't keep doing this work without you. I'll be doing an exclusive Patreon team call after this live stream. So as soon as this live stream's finished, I'll be over in our Discord server, the David Rams Discord, doing a voice call with the Patreon team exclusively. And you can get that as well as exclusive content that is only available to the patrons by signing up yourself to the Patreon team. So if you just click the link down in the pinned comment, the Patreon link, and then you've got the Discord link below that, you can join both. You can join the Patreon team. Just $1 a month is all it costs as the minimum, which doesn't seem like a lot to you, I guess, but it really does help me out. You're directly contributing to me and my work, as well as gaining access to all of that really cool stuff and getting access to these voice chats. So do consider doing that. Click the link in the pinned comment, join the team today, and then below that, click the link to join the Discord as well, so you can come in and we can discuss these things and you can get involved in that exclusive Patreon voice chat. So thank you everyone for watching the video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope this 5-Minute Friday live was sufficient. I hope you feel satisfied. I hope you feel good. I hope you enjoyed it just as much as the concise, short, kind of punchy 5-Minute Fridays that I record and edit and all that good stuff. I want to do more of these lives. So yeah, let's keep doing this. I've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed it. And I will see you all in the next video, which will be Sunday's live stream, which is going to be a very, very powerful one with an interview with a great guy who's been getting some shit from some woke vegans. So, see you all Sunday. Bye-bye.